Welcome to ModCast, an official podcast of Apolyton Civilization Site.
Kenneth, Ferland,
Tony Kiehl,
John,
ruff-in.
with guest co-host
Greyhound. I'm fairly certain that we are going to have some measure of fun, and I have a feeling it might be too much fun, but, is there really such thing as too much fun? Really?
No, there's
no.
How many continents we got today? We got another 3-continent show, which is great, because our good friend Gunnar is from
Europe.
Germany. Welcome to ModCast episode 27. Today, we are joined with Kenneth, Impaler WRG, Ferland.
Greetings, minions.
John, BTR's Archer.
G'day, everyone.
Tim, Ruff-in, Pratt.
That's me.
And me, Tony, GarretSidzaka, Kiehl, hello. With our very, very special guest co-host, Gunnar, Greyhound, Bindig.
Good day, everybody.
Oh, yay. The episode's officially started. We're going to have fun. We're going to dance together, and then afterwards we're going to hug each other.
Only in a metaphorical sense over the internet, though.
Hold hands.
But with no video recording, so...
No, it'd be better not to be viewed by anyone.
Yeah, well, because Ken's got his hair up in curlers and got lipstick on, so obviously he can't do the video podcast.
Yes, and BTR suffers from massive projection.
Okay. Now, everyone, hold on. I'm going to put this cat in the damn bathroom. Hold on. Wookie, come here. Here, kitty.
Did you hear the cat's name? Did you hear what the cat was called? Wookie. And it's got this little ammo belt.
Today in the artist Sketchpad, we looked at various ancient medieval units by Bakuel and World War II Marine machine gunners by dutchking.
In the Modder Spotlight, we talked to Greyhound about his MapView 2.0.
And today in the Code Corner, we look at the Global Warming mod by Minor Annoyance.
And have different junctions and stuff.
Bad kitty. Yeah, exactly. And, no kitty, that's a bad kitty.
You got to do something with that cat, Tony.
She's going after my damn cord.
He says that every episode. Does it have any error checking? Like, for instance...
I'm gonna kill you, cat!
Artist Sketchpad, where we discuss graphics and artwork from the Civ modding community.
I will not fail you, listeners. Today, I have some goodies in my artist goodie bag. I carry this bag everywhere I go. I do not leave it at home. I am insane like that. And our first delicious unit is several units by Bakuel. He has released a slew of units in one posting. If I go down the list, we've got Sumerian units, Korean units, Mayan units, and each of these categories as ancient ones and middle-aged ones. And it looks like across the field, every unit in Civ having its ethnically diverse counterparts.
Yeah, he's got pretty much everything from the warriors to the crossbowmen.
Yeah.
So, a pretty nice, complete set. It leaves out the modern units, but at that point, units really start to look very similar anyway.
Yeah.
And everyone likes ancient units anyways, because you never get to the modern age anyway. The game is won by the time you've gotten to this point anyway. If you can't win the game by the time you get to crossbow,
well, you can if you're on less than noble and you don't care about points. Hint for Axis. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we've got here the Sumerians, which I always loved, like, playing as, what's his name? Gilgamesh. He's awesome. His beard? I want my beard to look like that.
And then if you're playing as him, then he doesn't get to strangle you.
That is the main reason I play as him, because I hate that guy.
when he strangles your ass? All right, well, that happens. But it looks like he's taken the general idea from the one Sumerian unit and kind of just made variations on that theme. Not to say that they look identical at all by any means. Every single one of them looks different, and I think maybe the ModCast has really reached out to the artist. No more clone troopers.
Indeed.
I love the one on the bottom right. It's the swordsman with the
bronze sword, sickle sword.
Yeah, with that cool ass sword. And I also love the one in the Middle Ages, second.
I think that may actually be the mace man.
Yeah.
And the one in the top row is the original swordsman with the shield. He's a regular swordsman. The other guy is the equivalent of maceman. Which can be a little tricky to actually tell which one is which, but that is more historically appropriate, though.
And then I love the guy in the Middle Ages, second from the right, who has like a cape made out of feathers, it looks like. Do you see that?
I see what you mean.
Is that the maceman?
Maybe.
I mean, obviously the one to the right of that is the spearman with the jolly big spears, but the...
Or the pikeman, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, the pikeman.
Yeah, there's some more elaborate pictures if you follow the links.
Oh, really?
Oh, smarty pants.
Oh, yes, those are quite nice.
They're tiny.
A lot of them have these type cloths that are like the leather straps kind of looking deal.
Better to hold your junk with.
Indeed.
But I love the way he's kept his square-looking shields, and he's kept that running through all of his units. Every unit has a square-looking shield with 2, 3, 5, 6 dots on it all. And it looks superb.
Yeah, so tower shield type things, yeah.
Yeah, and the dots in the middle are called a center boss.
Yeah, those actually hold the shield together and deflect blows.
What if it's a center boss at the edge? Is that an edge boss?
That's not a center boss, that's a shield hilt. Remember, I kill people for a hobby, so I know.
Yeah, I know.
The next we got Korean, and I like these because Korea has such a... I mean, it's right next to China, yet it has such a different culture than either China or Japan, almost a blend and some new ideas, too. And these Korean units look... If there's anything that can step up to those Sumerians, it's these Korean units. They look awesome. Got the knight, has that, like, scale armor that you see in a lot of the ancient kung fu movie kind of deals. It looks like it's made out of bronze or gold or something. And then we've got peasants in some of the jobs in there you can see. And... of course, the spearmen are peasants, the archers are higher up, and then the knights are extremely higher caste. You know what I'm saying? Are you seeing the caste look to these Korean units?
Yeah, there's excellent diversity. You can definitely tell the difference between all of them. You can really tell the knight from the horseman. You can tell everything from everything else. No clones.
No clones. None at all.
These archers. I really like the headdresses on the archers and the...
Yeah.
I wonder how Bakuel is actually creating his new units, whether he's using Blender or 3D Max.
That's a good question. Both will do it. You can do just about anything with either or. I think the only difference is you can create animations from scratch with 3ds Max, and you can modify animations with Blender. And then we have the last of his slew of units. Well, this is like 40 different units here or something. You guys have to see this when you listen. Just click the links and everything will come clear. You've got the ancient age Mayan units, which every time I see them reminds me of medieval Total War II, where when you go to the New World and you get accosted by thousands of these guys. That also should say something about the quality, because it looks like it looks better than Total War II. He definitely captured the colorful nature of their uniforms. Are you seeing these ones?
Indeed. I'm wondering, what are these last set of guys here? The ones with the little green thing coming out of the top of their hat? They don't seem to be carrying any weapon.
This guy right here, maybe he's a...
Is he a missionary or something?
It looks like it could be a Mayan missionary. It looks about religious ceremonial garb, and he doesn't have any weapons.
If you scroll back up to the Korean unit, there's a similar guy that he's got a sword at his side, but he's wearing this big hat, and he looks like he should live in Pennsylvania and drive a horse-drawn buggy. But
No, I think that's a Korean missionary there, and I think he's got a Mayan missionary, but he doesn't seem to have a Sumerian missionary.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I was looking.
Yeah.
That's something most people don't go for. Usually people make missionaries that are religion-specific, and it's very rare to see people use in their mods culture-specific missionaries.
But maybe we should. Maybe every culture should have its own religion, and that's all for Civ 5, though, of course.
It could be a worker.
Well, What if you had to multiply it by both every civilization and every religion? So you had to make 7 different types of Mayan missionary, plus 7 different types of Incan. I mean, it would be so many units. It would be mind-blowing.
And one more, we have a little jaguar unit that actually has the skin of a jaguar.
Yeah, that's a little on-the-side unit he made, apparently.
I think the guys without the weapons are explorer guys. Just downloaded the file.
Oh, explorers. Yeah. That would be appropriate.
Yeah, that's cool.
That makes sense now.
I was thinking you could make a maceman without a weapon and he could go in there and do all kung fu moves.
Or he just produces a mace from, like mallet space.
No, he goes, karate chop!
Hiya!
Now, one thing I would say, though, is I think these might use slightly better skins in some places, just to make the colors pop a little more in some places.
Well, there's a fine line between colorful and garish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the skins are a little more very on the realistic side, rather than on the more flashy side that you typically think of the units in Civilization being. So it depends a little bit on what your preferences. But I'm a little bit more like the flashy unit.
Either way, I could say is Bakuel, you're an amazing artist. Come on to the show sometime. Prove your might.
If you scroll down to post 19 in that thread, Capo has posted some pictures and artwork that might change your talk about bright and garish.
Ah, excellent.
Well, see? Even the ancient artists knew that everyone was supposed to wear white stuff. See?
The next little bit I have, World War II units. We haven't done any World War II units lately. And these are U.S. machine gunners. I have to say the blaringly obvious thing everyone notices, those machine guns are obviously from World War I. But if we skip that, you can see these guys are pretty interesting camouflage, nice reskins, nice re-equip by our good friend dutchking, who I want to come on the show, but he's very shy. He's shy about coming on the show.
So would the intent be that these units, this would be a new unit, something that's like an upgrade to the World War I machine gunner, and you would actually use this in, say, like a World War II mod?
Yeah, I was going to say this would definitely be mod-specific.
If you're doing a World War II mod in the Pacific, you'd use the Pacific version.
Yeah.
If you're doing a world-wrapping one and you moved a unit from the Pacific to Africa to Europe, and it reskinned, that would be pretty amazing.
Kiehl had a few things at BTS about units being changed by XML, but I don't even think Kiehl got that to work right, so...
Yeah.
It could be done eventually. I know it could be, but you'd just have to insert an extra layer of code in there and have to fork the definition to another place. But it could be done, having a unit actually change its appearance when it moves from one environment on the map to another, just purely on location.
Or if it gets an upgrade, new weapons or something.
Yeah, upgrade. That could work.
But I think it would require an entire new artwork, like a whole new unit from scratch, basically, or, this model but with a reskin or something. But, if you're playing a world map and your Pacific guy gets reassigned to Europe, he didn't have time to get a new uniform. He just said, hey, I'm supposed to be in the Pacific, dude.
But, of course, the whole point of camouflaging your units so you can't see them on the map, probably not a good idea for gameplay.
Camouflage, schmamouflage. How much is that really going to help you anyways? Come on.
Well, that's what funny screenshots are for.
Yeah.
Or would you like spy units to just be invisible to you as well? I don't think so. Would you like the stealth bomber to just, disappear?
You can only see him when he opens his Bombay doors.
One last comment, though. Look at this odd insignia Dutch King has put on the left side of the flag there.
A baby with a gun?
It's like the genuine quality modding Dutch King Industries.
Looks like the dancing baby.
It's the official Dutch King logo.
The Dutch King is younger.
I think it's a shooting baby.
I've got to say that from my view of the American culture, that fits it exactly correct, isn't it? Doesn't every baby have a gun under their pillow?
Well, the thing is, DK's a younger fellow, and some of the trolls in the forum give him a lot of crap, so I guess he's kind of responding to it with this.
Wait, how could anyone know how old he is if he doesn't say?
Yeah, I tread softly, but I carry a big gun. Yeah.
Modding Spotlight, where we discuss and examine a particular mod out of the Civ 4 community.
today we have Greyhound, also known as Gunnar, and he has done a little program known as MapView. And he took a nice long vacation, and now he's back with MapView 2.0.
Stormed back with MapView 2.0.
Oh, yeah, he was laying waste.
This little app actually checks whether it's the latest version and then nags you to download the latest version. I mean, that's got to be a first at Civ.
Oh, yeah. That's professional.
I had that done already in the early version years back, and I never pushed the version that contained that. And I thought, oh my god, this is going to be in 2.0.
Yeah, we've got that in the bug mod, but you actually have to activate it to see whether you're using the latest version available.
Anyone in the panel use MapView, the original?
No, I haven't.
I have never made a map of any sort.
Well, that's because you're lazy, Ken.
I've made maps through World Builder.
Yeah, and I like randomly generated maps.
Oh, God, well, you need to try this out, because World Builder, you ever try making rivers in World Builder?
Oh, yeah. I actually think I've worked out how to do it, and I've been meaning to actually write a little how to do rivers in World Builder.
Well, forget about it. Just tell him to download MapView. His river placement program, the way you place rivers, is just wonderful. I went through and loaded up my mod's map the other day and fixed all my rivers that were flowing the opposite direction or all, tangled up.
And have different junctions and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. When you look at his map, it kind of, it's tiled out, but the tiles somehow have the graphics from Civ interpreted onto it, like the resources will be the little resource symbol right out of the game. The trains are also like that, and you can do a lot. I think this new version, you can cut and paste parts of the map. Am I right, Gunnar?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you take a text file of a map, like a World Builder scenario, and dump it into your app, and then it'll render the map for you?
What kind of text file?
Well, you know how in World Builder, and you save a scenario, it saves a whole lot of text describing the map.
That's Python, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going and how the application started first. That's why it's called MapView, because the first idea was to show what these VS files look like.
Mm-hmm.
The editor ability just came in when the rendering and everything worked.
Okay.
So that's how it started. It's actually reading the text files, and you can't work with save files.
I remember way back in the beginning, you started this one back in 2005, didn't you?
Yeah.
First years was only for viewing, so it was good for that, but I said, I wish this would edit. I can't recall, but there was another editor I had to use until you got MapView into edit. Now it's just a huge program. It is the program for editing.
It's great. I really like it, and I love it. I check the forums every day, a million times, and just look for responses. The last response is some guy writing, yeah, keep up the good work, and that's why I do that. I don't even play Civilization, or neither do I create maps or something. I just code the program for the pleasure of some other guys and hope can save some time for those guys.
Oh, yeah, and I also suggested a new feature. I wanted you to be able to add some kind of scripting that allows you to add a building in all of the cities of a specific Civ. So you could say, go to a window or something with all the buildings in the mod that you load up. Click factory for Civ A, and all the cities of Civ A will have a factory.
Oh, that's great.
That's a good idea.
I can really imagine how this works, and it's not really going to take much time to do such stuff. Everything works on plugins, and I'm sending events and all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually quite easy to add extra abilities. I just need the ideas, so everybody can suggest. When I find some time, I'll do it.
I wanted to clarify one thing about how the program works with Python. Are you saying that when you start up your map view, you start with a blank slate and then you're building the whole thing from scratch and it's going to export a map file, that's all? Or you're saying it can run a Python map script file, spit out a map, and then you can alter that map and save as a world builder file?
That's it's totally independent from Civilization, Python, and everything. The only thing possible is some XML stuff. So it reads about which units are used and everything which is available.
Oh.
I have no idea what exactly a modular mod is, but I think that's not supported too.
So if you alter the XML, say if I added new resources, new types of map features, would it show up in here, you wouldn't have little icons from there where it would be like a big question mark or something?
Yeah, that's the question mark, but
okay.
You could place it and everything. In the top part of the application where all the buttons are, you'd have a question mark, and when you hover it, you could read its, let's say, bonus read, and you could place it, and in the big window showing the actual map, you get some kind of question marks.
Okay.
So you would know there is a bonus or something. You could spot that by the color of the question mark, if you know it. And if you go over it, there is the Tile Explain plugin, which would show, and there you could see, okay, it's a bonus.
Oh, okay.
I see. So you hard-coded all of the little graphic pieces that you pulled out of the game to their known positions in the XML files. That's how it is associated now. But if I disrupt the order in the XML file or add things to the end of it, those things will not be represented by graphics. So it's still somewhat useful for people who have modded the game, but they have to be a little careful.
Not really. Every unknown stuff will be rendered as a question mark, so you will know there is something. And if you are some kind of guy who wants to really add stuff to MapView, you could go to your Photoshop and create a little file that would render them. So you can make it show your own resources and stuff for your custom modification. I already made some video tutorials.
Now, I have a question. This is actually something I need to know before I use it. I have a custom mod which has, I'd say about 70 custom units. Like, there are very few units that are actually in Civ 4. No custom terrain, and I'd say about a dozen or so custom buildings. How do I load MapView to be able to have those question mark buttons for all this custom shit unrelated to Civ?
You have your mods somewhere in the mod subfolder of Civilization 4.
Yeah, I have a separate mod, Second Revolution.
Is it for Warlords or something? Or
Right now I'm at BTS.
Okay, so it's in BTS/mods, and then in your Second Revolution or whatever you said.
Uh-huh.
Just MapView starts and will detect where is your civilization folder. If it's possible to detect your civilization, it will scan every mod folder, and the editor, it's in plugins, editor, and there is one option, it's called mods. And in your case, your mod will be found and you can change to this mod. I think I have your mod somewhere. So here's Rise, Fall of Civilization. I just click it. All the XML files will be read. All the toolbars on the top of the application will refresh. And you can start adding units. Here's unit Viking Berserker, unit Zulu Impi. Everything is there and I can place it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Gunnar, did you write your MapView in Visual Basic 6 or .NET platform?
I wrote it in its Visual Studio 2005, and I'm not using any net features. I'm writing in C++, and most stuff is based on VX widget.
Okay.
It does have a very standard Windows interface look to it.
Yeah, it's really clean too.
And I'm quite happy with it. Since the GUI interface was the main problem, I didn't push a new version in the last years. The first version was kind of illegal, and I had some educational license there, and now when I moved on to an open source program, I just have to include a license file and everything's alright.
Very cool, very cool.
So it's open source and people can look at the source. Is it on SourceForge?
I know, my own program, I didn't release any code yet, but I'm hopefully releasing some kind of SDK which will allow some plug-in development, which is quite easy. I just have to be sure my application interface doesn't change too often. Nowadays I change too much stuff every day, which would make me release API every day, so at the moment it's stupid, but I hope it's going to happen maybe in a month.
Interesting.
One question I had with the map view, when you put some information in there, for instance, you can't have marble appearing on grass plains. Does MapView actually do some checking for that, or does it assume that you can do what you like?
I've got that handled some way, and when you are in the editor plugin submenu, there is an option called restricted placement.
Right.
And you can actually control if bonus things are placed on the correct terrain. But that's the only check currently possible, since it's not something you really want to edit.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to generate maps, it's a great thing, and maybe I will come up with a plugin that will generate stuff, and that will definitely work with that values. But currently only the bonus is checked for the correct terrain, and you have to manually enable the.
Well, I imagine people could just generate a map randomly, generate the map in the normal fashion, immediately save it without doing anything, and then open it up in the builder, right? For them to work on.
If I had time forever, I could maybe expose stuff to Python and allow some plugin interfaces and stuff. But every Python stuff is probably connected to the Python scripting engine and all the functions Civilization exposes.
Yeah, well, you'd need some boost in there too, I think.
Yeah, I really already thought maybe I should use more of the Civilization SDK, but I don't use it at all. I just look into it if I need to clear some stuff out. Maybe look how Civilization would do it. I don't compile any SDK code.
Another thing I wanted to note to the listeners is a lot of people used to use the BMP to WS script, which I think was Python, and it would kind of messily convert bitmaps to civilization format maps. And Gunnar's MapView actually has that built in a context menu to convert pictures into civ maps. How does that work?
I'm a bit sad I couldn't get better work in it. Currently it only has one fixed size it generates. It's 120 to whatever the original picture aspect ratio was. But what I just do is I look for the pixel values and divide the picture in maybe 100 little slices and calculate the average, and then look for the average color this tile generates, and if it's greenish it will be grassland, if it's more like blue it's going to be a sea field, and that's how I do it.
So can this take a raw satellite photo, or do you have to initially doctor it up by drawing on the photo and just using like a paint fill to put in one uniform color of green and one uniform color of blue?
I used to check the tool if it's going to produce some kind of good result. And it's actually what you get if you Google for satellite world or something. And it's going to work great. You just have to make sure you use a picture format that only has 3 channels and doesn't come with an alpha channel or so. BMPs don't work good. The best is to just convert everything you have into a JPEG and use this, and the result will be kind of good.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you can do that pretty easily with GIMP. Save something as a JPEG.
You could use that with any editor. You could do that with Paint.
What's possible too is it will need some experience to get the colors correct. You could just use your favorite picture generating software, whatever. Use the pen tool and draw the basic shapes of some continents and sea fields and deserts maybe in 2 minutes. Save it as JPEG and load it into MapView, and you already had your basic shape stuff, and with the flood fill tool and everything you would be just a minute away from what you wanted to get.
That would take a lot longer to actually do in the viewer itself. Put everything down tile by tile. Whew, saves a lot of time.
Gunnar, you have dedicated such a large portion of your time to the Civ community, and you don't even make your own mods, you just make this awesome editor. I hope that you stick with it and add all these features so it'll take a lot of work off my belt, and I hope you stay with the community when, perhaps Civ 5 comes out. Keep making the editor, or even make this editor work for colonization.
Well, actually, because it uses the same map format, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There are those special things about having the sail to Europe zones. I think those alter the map format slightly. So.
Well, he'd have to add that plugin, of course, but
yeah, look to checking out if there's something there that needs to be done.
But this is an awesome program, and I'm very glad to have you on the show. So if you want to edit a map, Now you guys know where to go. Go to Greyhound, a.k.a. Gunnar's MapView 2.0, and frickin' knock yourself out.
That's under the Civ 4 Utility Programs forum at Civ Fanatics, in case anyone's wondering. Code Corner, where we discuss SDK and Python mods or any other non-graphical mods in the Civilization 4 modding community.
We have a little bit of code that we've been putting off for a couple weeks because of time constraints, but we have the global warming mod by a Minor Annoyance. Now, we need to find out, is this mod a major annoyance or not?
It's an interesting little mod. He's basically altered the way that global warming feature in the game works. Basically, the concept he's trying to do, he's going to make global warming take longer. It's going to be a little slower in the amount of damage it causes to the environment. And it's going to be a little easier for you to counter and control it, by being a tree hugger, basically. So he's gone in here. It's a code mod, an SDK-based mod. He hasn't actually released the source code, which I really would have liked to see.
Oh.
But he's just got it as an execute file, which installs.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, It's a Minor Annoyance, which is also who it's by.
Well, figures.
So is it Python?
No, I think it's SDK-based is what he's doing here.
Oh, okay.
It's only guessing.
Well, if he installs this, does it create a mod?
Or is it just the DLL?
Yeah, I think he installs the DLL in the mod in the execute file. But he's got new XML features, global defines, which you put in globaldefines.alt, and those contain new values which you can modify, and those also feed into the mod as to cause the new effects he's producing. All the features on the map resist global warming, so as you are having the global warming factors will be resisted by jungles and forests and ice on the map, and then it'll progressively reduce those features as the global warming takes effect. The more stuff you have, like the more trees you leave on the map, the more jungles you leave on the map, the more resistance you have to global warming take place. And if you take certain effects like being in environmentalism and whatnot, it makes all those things more powerful, so they can resist global warming longer.
Oh.
And he's also changed the pattern by which global warming occurs.
Yeah.
So he's got this nice little picture sequence down here in his thread. You can see in the original, global warming very quickly takes away all the trees and then, leaves you with bare terrain and then turns all that bare terrain into desert.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect ice. And now he's changed it so that global warming will melt the sea ice quickly. And then it will also more slowly change terrain types from being like snow to tundra to grass to plains and then finally to desert. So it goes through more steps of degradation before it's completely lost. Jungles will actually change. You'll have like a forest that's like a temperate forest. The fir trees will change into a jungle eventually and then into a desert. So you get a more interesting transition of environment.
I'm getting a big jolly looking at the optional rising seas.
Yeah.
So it looks like if your terrain turns to desert,
oh yes,
and it's on the coast, it's gonna get swamped in with the water. That's delicious. That's what I was hoping for, actually.
That reminds me of Smack, where if any of you guys remember Smack,
yeah,
each terrain square actually had a real elevation above sea level. And what it would do is it would raise the ocean and it would inundate in a logical manner. And, the lowest elevation spots would be filled in first. And you could actually predict where the sea rise is going to be.
Well, Call to Power did that.
Oh, well, I didn't play Call to Power.
Oh.
Well, Call to Power was a rip-off of Smack. That's why. Nah. But you could click on a tile and it'd say, this tile is 20 meters above sea level. And then you'd get a warning that says, sea level rise, 50 meters expected. And you'd be like, oh shit, better build a pressure dome there.
Yeah.
Now, this could be tricky, though, since you don't know exactly where the sea rise is going to be. So it makes it very much, and there is no defense against inundation in Civilization 4, right? If it gets inundated, your city is destroyed, right?
Well, I hope that they actually just make the city into an island.
No.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, does it say on his mod what happens with inundation? Because we don't have the source codes.
It's a good question. It doesn't look like it.
And do any of the cities into the ocean with the rising sea levels?
Well, I hope they make an exception for California. Good riddance.
What do you mean? California's the first place to fall into the ocean.
I know. I hope that they don't get their cities saved.
Giant mudslide.
No, I'm saying I don't want L.A. to be still there in the middle of the ocean. I want it to be gone. But the rest of the world can be okay.
How do you feel about Vegas?
Well, Vegas is going to be a coastal town.
Even better, hey?
So you go to Vegas, take a boat. I don't know, it'd be great.
I got to say, I mean, I'm playing a game at the moment where climate change started to bite, and it's really annoying when you've got a nice little farm of rice on grassland generating 5 or 6 food, and then suddenly, wham, it's like rice on a desert.
Oh, that's, of course, silly, but at least you get to keep your resource, huh?
Yeah, more like rice pudding.
Now, I have another question. It says it separates the effect of nuclear weapons from global warming to have nuclear winter. What I love about this is I guess global warming in this game is industry-based on health. Bad health causes global warming, not nuclear weapons, because...
Well, Civ 4, both of them occur. Nuclear weapons and bad health.
Well, no, but nuclear weapon... Okay, and one of these lines says, separates the effects of nuclear weapons from global warming to have nuclear winter. Drops fallout and may freeze tiles, plains, grasslands, tundra, snow, like nuclear winter.
Ouch.
Oh, okay.
Global warming off nukes made absolutely 0% sense. For Axis are idiots for putting that effect in there. I mean, really, it is idiotic.
Well,
the comments expressed in this episode are the views.
Well, there's a very temporary warming from a nuclear weapon.
A temporary warming, but Civ is not...
temporary and localized. So a desert in the tile where you hit where the nuke hits would make sense. But then overall the world would cool down because of the nuclear winter.
The nuclear winter is dust being thrown up in the atmosphere and preventing light from reaching the ground. With this mod, if you have bad global warming, it'd be beneficial to have a nuclear war and kind of cool it down a little bit.
Yes, you must balance your pollution with your nuclear warfare.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid that
It's like, too much nuclear warfare, now we have to pollute more. You know?
Yeah. No, you know what? We don't want to give our government any ideas, okay? Oh, but yeah, this is a great little mod. I love it so much, I'm tempting to have some code monkey add it to my mod, since I still can't do visual yet. Good job, Minor Annoyance. You've turned a minor annoyance into something fun, Minor Annoyance.
Well, he has to give you the source code, though, before you can get it fused into another mod.
Yeah, give us the source code. That's silly.
Calling today. In North America, the number is 301-637-7659. That's 301-637-POLY. In Europe, 44-121-288-7659. That's 44-121-288 POLY. You can Skype us at the PolyCast or email us at polycast@apolyton.net. For more information on ModCast, our sibling shows, PolyCast and RevCast, or about PolyCast in general, log on to the series' official website at polycast.apolyton.net.
I think religion needs to be nerfed in the next version and relegated to more flavor than anything. I mean, it's almost flavor now. It's flavor that doesn't taste good. That's what it is.
No, I totally disagree, Tony. I think religion was a great addition to the Civ 4.
Well, I agree, but I think its role was misused.
Well, I like the concept of, like, Isabella goes religion mad and everybody hates her and stuff. That conflict between the AIs and yourself, it's brilliant.
I agree.
It does give you a good purpose for mindless warfare.
Well,
which is exactly what you need.
I guess that's exactly what religion's good for.
Rather than just, I want to steal your resources. You know, it's like, I want to steal your resources and convert your heathens.
Well, I went outside to have a cigarette. Always happens. I go out of a cigarette while I'm recording. I do this. I'm sorry. I'm a smoker. And the cat jumps up on my freaking desk and freaking, prances across the keyboard. Like, she could actually walk around the keyboard.
Now,
yeah.
Tony?
Yeah.
Tony, one question. What's the name of your cat?
I have two cats, but the cat in reference, her name is Wookie.
We thought so.
We heard you talking to Wookie earlier. So do you put a little ammo belt on him?
Oh, that'd be sweet. Now you gave me an idea. Get a little ammo belt. But,
is the cat brown?
She's white and brown, so I just kind of went with the generic Star Wars name.
Yeah.
Because it was either that or Darth Kitty. I don't know.
Darth Kitty. Cool. And you'd have to have two cats because there can only be two Darths at one time.
I do have two cats, and I think Wookiee is the apprentice Sith, and the other cat is the Ancient Master. Yeah, and the other cat will
Evil Master.
come up on you, and if you pet the kitty, the other cat's name is Linkovich, and he'll start drooling excessively all over your shirt, and then he'll sneeze on you.
Oh, I've been there, done that, yep.
But enough about my silly pets.
You should take some pictures of your cat and get some wall cat photos made,
Oh, yeah. But I think it's true. We did have too much fun today, but that's every week for us for some reason. Gunnar, I'm so glad you could make it on the show. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was great. Great show. I'll start listening more frequently. Definitely.
What do you mean start listening? Get rid of him.
Yay!
New listener!
We now have officially 18 listeners.
Wow. Gone up by 1.
It has gone up by 1.
I lied.
Oh!
What?
Back to 17.
After me on the show, you won't have any listeners anymore.
Oh, get out of here. You were great. In fact, what's going to happen is you're going to use your darn tools and save them time. They'll be happy. Great show. And today we have been joined with John B.T. Oz Archer.
See you later, everyone.
Tim Ruff-in Pratt.
Time for me to go out for cake.
Ooh, cake.
Kenneth Impaler WRG Ferland.
Farewell.
Me, Tony GarretSidzaka Kiehl, goodbye. With very, very special, useful guest co-host Gunnar Greyhound Bindig.
Back to coding.
Well, we will see you guys.
Yes, back to the grind.
Yeah, I gotta go back to class on Tuesday.
You too, Tony. I expect an operating system out of you by next week.
Oh,
It doesn't do very much.
it won't do anything much. It'll say hello world, and then it'll shut down. But it'll be more useful than Windows.
Dead set.
We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Record date.
February 8th, 2009.
Sound clips copyright Civilization 4 and the Warlords and Beyond the Sword expansion packs.
Copyright 2009, Apolyton Civilization Site at apolyton.net.